Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys.
So, yesterday, my Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl. It was great. You could see it on live TV in the afternoon. It was a weird day for a Super Bowl, but it happened.
Let Jerry and Mike McCarthy tell you that you won the Super Bowl.
Oh, no. Here we go.
I'm surprised you weren't there.
Yeah, I felt like I was there in spirit. Here we go.
Say about that. I cannot wait to dive into today's show. Are LeBron and Anthony Davis really getting along as well as they want us to believe, like best friends forever kind of thing? And we've got a surprising twist coming out about Belichick and Brady's future in New England. But first, we are going to start with the Dallas Cowboys, who officially introduced Mike McCarthy yesterday as the 9th head coach in franchise history. Everyone was in good spirits in the nearly hour-long media session that also included the Jones family and had several current Cowboy players in attendance. McCarthy even took the opportunity to show off his sense of humor. Take a listen.
I'm having a moment here because I don't know where the hell to put my hands. I never sat at a table for a press conference, so excuse me. Second thing, I should have brought my typed copy of notes like Jerry did. I was trying to be slick and slip this in on you.
Right as we walked through the door, Troy Aikman was the first pick in the draft. And the Dallas Cowboys had the first pick in the draft. And the Dallas Cowboys needed a great quarterback to start. Yes, we needed Mike. We needed a coach. But to have his availability and to have his track record and ability to check all the boxes that I just talked about was fortuitous for this franchise.
Well, Shannon, are you buying what the Cowboys were selling yesterday?
I'm buying it right now, Skip. It's the honeymoon. Skip, can I ask you a question? Was Mike McCarthy available at the 2019 season? Was he available at the beginning? Oh, he was. We talk about it a little later.
Well, but they were going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again.
So, yeah. Okay.
Again.
Yeah.
They're about to do what the Patriots have been doing over the last 20 years. Skip, this is the honeymoon phase. Everybody is saying all the right things. Jared, fortuitous. I wouldn't say that because even before you purchased it, they had already had Troy Aikman. It's not fortuitous, Skip, that you lose all your games except one and you get the first pick in the draft. It's not like, a coin flip. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar going to the Bucks as opposed to the Suns because of a coin flip is fortuitous. You losing 15 games.
Okay, but sometimes you get the first pick and there's nobody there you really love, right?
But here's the thing.
There was Troy Aikman sitting right there available.
Okay, you weren't going to take Barry Sanders because you had Herschel Walker, who had just led what, Skip? He had just led the league in rushing, right?
Okay.
Did Herschel lead? So you don't need a running back.
Okay.
So all the other guys is, like I said, remember, I said you want the guy that scores. Jimmy looks at it kind of like I do, Skip. Jimmy's looking at a guy that scores points. We need a quarterback. We don't need a running back. Remember, they shipped Herschel off.
Okay.
And got that boatload of that bounty of picks. So all things being equal, if there's a DB, a running back, a quarterback, an offensive lineman.
But Barry Sanders wasn't in that draft. It wasn't like you had to choose.
Yes, he was.
But Barry Sanders and Troy Aikman?
Yes, Barry was third.
Third?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Derek Thomas was fourth. Deion Sanders was fifth.
So. I was thinking of Tony Mandarich.
No.
The choice was between Tony Mandarich and
Tony was second.
Okay.
That's where those four of the five went to the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I got it.
First ballot. So, yes, Skip. So, look. I understand what Jerry is selling. Jerry's trying to, and Jerry's great at this. You've made this abundantly clear. You know him better than any of us sitting around the table because you spent so much time writing books about Jerry. Jerry can sell anything. Jerry can sell.
Greatest super salesman I have ever been around. The most positive person I have ever been around, period, end of story.
P.T. Barnum ain't got nothing on
Nothing
Jerry.
On this guy. I totally agree.
Really?
So, Skip, look, this was a very Cowboy-esque type press conference. If you didn't know better, you would swear Mike McCarthy was Beyonce or the Pope, the way people were hanging over the look at. I'm like, is this a press conference for real? Skip a press conference that you're introducing a coach and you got this wall to wall and the pomp and the pageantry and pomp that they got going. I'm like, really, Jerry? For this? He better win. He better win by 2 or 3 for the introduction that he got, Skip. Anything less than 2 Super Bowls would be uncivilized.
That is probably true.
But look, Skip, you know this is a honeymoon phase. And Jerry put a very, very positive spin. You notice he didn't mention anything about that 8-8 or the disappointment that came along with that. Because there's a reason. Was it fortuitous that you went 8-8 after you had said you were going to the Super Bowl? You and Steven said this is the most talented team since those teams. Was that fortuitous that you go 8-8 and this is why you're able to get Mike McCarthy? Skip, look, I get what Jerry's doing, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff with Jerry moving forward. But like I said, it was Jerry at his finest hour, being in front of the cameras, being able to talk and promise things he hasn't been able to deliver on in a quarter century. Okay. He believes that Mike McCarthy. If I'm Jason Garrett, I'm sitting back like, well, hold on. You let this man hire his whole staff. Everybody that's on my staff, you pick.
Interesting.
But now you live and learn, Skip. You know, it's kind of like any relationship. If you're reflective, if you're in a relationship, Skip, and things go bad, you sit back, you're like, okay, what did I do? If you're reflective, you're like, oh, Shay's very reflective. Okay, could I have done something different? Could I have said it in a better way? Could I have done this? Jerry, maybe as Jerry's looking back and say, you know what? Instead of me filling his staff, I'm going to let him get the staff. Instead of me doing all this, I'm going to let other people. So hopefully he's learned. I don't believe it, and neither do you.
I don't think I've spoken yet. And now I'm going to speak for myself. Thank you very much. So I'm going to be up front. I'm going to say that there were several laugh out loud moments, and we're going to talk about several of those in this press conference that I did not love.
Okay.
And I'll be the first to say there were some kooky old Jerry moments I did not love. There were some awkward moments, thanks to Stephen Jones, who was sitting next to Mike McCarthy and just laughing uproariously at nearly everything Mike said, a lot of it not funny.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you laughing at?
Was he nervous?
It's like a sitcom laugh track. I'm thinking, are you trying to make him more personable by just yucking it up at everything he said? It felt like it was like 2 a.m. closing time at the honky tonk after a bunch of drinks, right? And he's just laughing at everything Mike says, and Mike can be kind of deadpan, but I don't think he's exactly a comedian, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you all the above. But you can accuse me of getting conned by Jerry Jones once again. When I turned off my TV yesterday afternoon, I sat back and I said, I am buying what I just got sold.
Okay.
Because it felt authentic to me. And I must tell you that after all that I saw and heard, I do feel better about this hire now. And again, maybe I'm completely overreacting, but it hit home to me. Maybe the fan was coming back out in me, but Jerry made some very strong and valid points. And Jerry Jones got tears in his eyes as he was introducing Mike McCarthy.
Right.
I've never seen Jerry do that before.
Wow.
I have spent hundreds of hours around this man. I feel like I know him inside and out because I did sit with him to write 3 books, not 1 book, but 3 books, and he gave me nothing but time because Jerry does love to hear Jerry speak.
Yes, he does.
So not only did he get tears in his eyes, but he was losing his voice because he said, this is before the press conference even started, he apologized up front, I'm losing my voice, because he had been screaming so much in excitement, because he was so happiness, just pure joy about we got this guy who just happened to be available when I suddenly needed a coach for the first time in too long of a time, right?
Right.
And the other thing that struck me was, and I'm going to get to this in just a minute, as Mike McCarthy began to speak, he got tears in his eyes. And I feel like both tears from both sides were very real.
Agree.
This thing clicked. These guys fell in love. Again, is it like one night infatuation love? Is it honeymoon love? I don't know, but they fell deeply in love.
Here's the thing, Skip. When you alone, it's hard to understand. Am I in love or am I tired of being alone? Which is it?
Well, what if you told me 1,000 times? He loves Jason Garrett like a son.
He did.
So wasn't he in love there? Wasn't that love?
He was, but he wasn't alone. Sometimes, Jenny, you know, when you've been in a relationship for an extended period of time, you get out of a relationship, and because you've been in a relationship, what do? You go jump back in another one.
Yeah.
And it's not always wise to do it, Skip.
You could be right about that. But I do believe, after yesterday, that Jerry Aikman-like impact on this franchise. And by the way, a couple days ago, Troy himself said, I really like this hire. The Cowboys picked the right guy. So Troy endorsed.
Right.
Troy's been really hard on this franchise, very objectively critical.
And I think Troy, Skip, being in the role that he serves here at Fox as the lead guy, talking to Mike McCarthy so many times in those